Aloha and welcome everyone to the 3 p.m. hearing of the Public Safety and Intergovernmental and Military Affairs Committee. Today is March 8, 2024, and we are in room 225 at the State Capitol. We'd like to welcome our committee members, Chair Wakai, as well as Senator Fukunaga. For all testifiers, including those on Zoom, we ask that you stand on your written testimony. If your oral testimony is different from your written testimony, the time limit for each testifier will be 1 minute. So I just ask that folks that are here to stick to that 1 minute. The committee has received over 1,000 written testimonies on both of these measures, or 4 of these measures here today. The content, including the hearing notice, copies of the bills and testimony, can be found on the legislature's website or on the live video stream. An archive of this hearing can be found on the Senate's YouTube channel. Decision-making will occur after we hear from all the testifiers. If we have a catastrophic technical failure, we will resume this hearing in this conference room on Monday, March 11, 2024 at 3 p.m. We'll now move on to our agenda. The first 2 items are SCR 3 and SR 3. We don't have anyone that's registered to testify on these 2 resolutions. Is there anyone in the audience or IT, anyone on Zoom that would like to testify on those 2 items? Okay. If not, members, we'll move on to our next, and I'm sorry, I forgot to state the title. The first 2 resolutions were urging the United States Geological Survey to conduct topographical surveys, particularly within lava zone hazard zones 1 and 2, to update its long-term lava flow hazard map of Hawai'i Island. Now we'll move on to SCR 13 and SR 6, urging members of Hawaii's congressional delegation to support the ceasefire in Gaza, resolution introduced by United States Congresswoman Cori Bush. Members, we do have over 50 people that have registered to testify, whether in person or Zoom, so I'm going to call in the order that we have received them. First is from the Democratic Party of Hawaii, Chris Caulfield, followed by Sergio Acabila, followed by Julia Warwick. Are any of those individuals here or on Zoom IT? Oh, yes, please come forward. And followed by Julie, we have Fatima in person, there's no last name, and Christopher Castany on Zoom. Aloha and welcome.
Aloha. Aloha PSM Committee. My name is Julie Warwick, and I'm testifying today on behalf of Jewish Voice for Peace Hawai'i, a grassroots movement of Jews in solidarity with Palestine and strong support of both resolutions. I'm testifying today on behalf of my ancestors who knew the feeling of the entire world turning on their back on them intimately well. We are over 150 days into a genocide being committed by the state of Israel, made directly possible by the United States. 2.2 million people are trapped in a land area smaller than Molokai, being indiscriminately bombed and purposefully starved. And just like the Holocaust, the world is sitting by and letting it happen. Even with a permanent ceasefire today, 6,500 people, more lives will be lost in the time it takes just to get aid and services, meaning there is no time to waste and we're already behind. We are asking you to take a long and hard look in the mirror in this time of moral reckoning. Choose your humanity over the political fear-mongering and lobbying meant to keep unprecedented amounts of power in Israel's hands at the expense of Palestinians' lives, livelihoods, futures, and dreams. As Jews, we invite you to stand with us in the Jewish values of shalom and tikkun olam, to fight for a just world by repairing it, to be in right relationship, be holding all life as inherently sacred. So Chair Wakai, Vice Chair Elefante, we hope you stand on the side of humanity today. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Next up is Fatima, followed by Christopher Cassine, followed by Hakeem Onisafi. Are any of those individuals here?
Right there.
Hi, are you Fatima?
Fatima, yes.
Yes, hi Fatima, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Aloha everybody, my name is Fatima and I am with Rise for Palestine. I am a Palestinian here as a guest in Hawaii, and my family is in West Bank right now, in Jerusalem as well, and my aunt escaped Gaza. My aunt was an American citizen. She was living in Michigan for a long time, and many, many years ago, she went to visit my family and she got stuck at the Gaza border for 7 years, and she ended up staying there and remarrying and starting a new life out there. This is not something that is new. This has been happening way before Hamas attacked on October 7th. 6 months before October 7th, my dad in Ramallah called me and said that somebody from IDF came by and threw a smoke bomb into their living room. With my nieces and nephews who were infants in the home, my stepmother has asthma. She got really sick. And he is forced to have to decide if he's going to sell the house for the safety of my sisters
Fatima.
and
Thank
my
you.
brother.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Okay. Moving on to Christopher Kasani, followed by Hakeem Onisafi, followed by Kaylin Bray. Yeah, Hakeem?
Lord Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, I'm here on behalf of the Muslim Association of Hawaii in my capacity as the chairman of the board. We have submitted a testimony in strong support and requesting some amendments/corrections. We ask you to take a look at those. But I just wanted to talk very briefly about the magnitude of this. The amount of children that have died so far or killed or massacred equal to all the pre-K and the K students in the entire state of Hawaii. The amount of people that are dead today are equal to the population of all the 7 campuses here in Hawaii, plus University of Hawaii at Hilo, plus University of Hawaii at West Oahu. And the amount of people that are displaced and starving and running for their lives equal the population of the entire state of Hawaii, plus the entire state of Rhode Island, all combined. We'll stand on our testimony in strong support. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Onisafi. We have Ann Frederick, Roots Reborn in support, Affirm Hawaii in support, Wayne Tanaka in support, Colonel Ann Wright in support, from testifying for veterans for Peace Chapter 113 Hawaii, M. Heialani Sonoda Pale testifying for Kalahui Hawaii in support. If your names are called here, just please come forward. Kaylin Bray testifying for students and faculty for justice in Palestine UH Manoa. Kaylin Bray. Yep. Aloha and welcome.
Hello, my name is Kaylin Bray, and I'm a student at UH Manoa in the American Studies Department focusing on clinical research. After the horrific events that took place on October 7th, I have been actively collecting, analyzing, verifying, and documenting all the videos that I come across. I have documented today a total of 1,033 videos. This is not only for historical documentation, this is also to ensure legal accountability to both individual criminal and command responsibility. Every single day I watch footage of the most horrific things that I've ever seen taking place in my life. All of you sitting on this committee are responsible for the development and stability of the Indo-Asian Pacific region by promoting security cooperation, encouraging peaceful development, responding to contingencies, and deterring aggression. We are at the edge of a monumental disaster with grave implications for regional peace, security, and human rights. Our position here in Hawaii, on the Hawaiian Islands, holds a pivotal position for the United States military structure. We are here today to see how all of you sitting on this committee are going to face this fundamental decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen Hazam in support, Danielle Beaver in support, Ezra Levinson by Zoom.
They're unavailable.
Okay, thank you, IT. Arif Rahman, Patricia Blair in support, Mike Gulicic Sr. in support. I'm going to go back to the first page where those that didn't testify, but we had Sean Ronson testifying for Showing Up for Racial Justice Hawaii in support. The Reverend Dr. Moses D. Barrios testifying for Faith Action Hawaii and Calvary by the Sea Lutheran Church in support. Jim Albertini from testifying for Malu Aina in support. John Bickle testifying for Americans for Democratic Action of Hawaii in support. We have Nanea Lo in support, Aya Abdo in support, Ilani Okimura in support, Gulia Mori Ondo in support, Chaz in support, Aubrey Maroti in support, Brianna Kawada in support, Eduardo Soto Rodriguez comments, Greg and Pat Fastrup in support, Wallace Engberg in support, Will Caron in support, Colleen Ross Bannock in support. Will? Yes. And then followed by Will, we have Mei Ha. Aloha and welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, council. Committee members. My name is Will Carone. I am a member of the Democratic Party State Central Committee, testifying as an individual, but I was the one that introduced this resolution originally for the party. I'm here to ask you to amplify that call, raise it up from the state level. And I'm here because I'm sick and tired of watching my tax dollars go to fund bombs and bullets that are blowing up kids in Gaza. And we need to stop. And so we need your help to make that happen. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, Will. Colleen Rose Vanek. We also have Meha. Hi. Followed by Meha, we have Darasa Rodznik and Sorcha Makari. Aloha, welcome.
All right, I'm here in support of a ceasefire because I'm tired of having to live through this genocide all over. My parents moved from Vietnam to here for a better future for me, but I don't think it's really necessarily a better future for me if I have to work through my life having to witness the horrors that are happening in Gaza. So I think it's really important to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. And a quote I found really impactful or very relevant. We are citizens of the most powerful country in the world, and it is a country that stands upon the wrong side of every liberation struggle on earth. I want you to feel what that means, by Audre Lorde. Thank you.
Thank you. Noel Shaw, Kristen Villafort, Christine McPherson, all in support. Kohan Pike Mender in support. Corey Keani Lee in support. Hi, yes, are you? Yes, please proceed.
My name is Aya Abdu. I'm here today to give my full support of SCR 13 and SR 6 on behalf of myself and students and faculty for justice in Palestine. As elected representatives, it's your duty to listen to your constituents, and we say we want a ceasefire now. For 153 days, we have been witnessing a relentless genocide of the Palestinian people, my people. We have seen children torn limb from limb, mountains of newborn babies killed before they could even truly live, parents carrying what's left of their families in plastic bags. The death toll of Palestinians has now surpassed 35,000 people. 35,000 is not just a number. These are human beings. It is our mothers, fathers, and children. So I'm asking you today to vote for a ceasefire. Vote as if it is the lives of your own family on the line. Thank you.
Thank you. Corey Keani Lee in support. Darsa Roxine Zoom. Sorry if I mispronounced your name.
They're unavailable on Zoom.
Okay, thank you, IT. Sorcha Makari in person. Sorcha. Okay, Abby Simmons in support. Shannon Close in support. Desiree Alesna. Leah Y, Rick Masterson, Dylan Ramos, Reina Johnson, Daniel, Willow Takahashi, Stephanie Spear, all in support. Sir Reina Johnson in person. The following individuals all in support: Sierra Cummings, Anquick Singer, Jocelyn Mamea, Lexi Everton, Hannah Mashel, Megan Van Burik, Bryn Michelle, Gay Chan, Lily Engel, Bianca Isaki, Kawakama, Christina Bachalega, Nate Hicks, O Musa. I have Izzy Green, and then I have Daniela Escontrella on Zoom. IT. Daniela Escontrella.
Yeah, she is here.
Hi, sorry, I jumped on late.
Yeah, we can hear you. We're unable to see you. Yep. Please proceed.
1 second. Sorry, I missed the first part. Okay. I'm in very strong support of a ceasefire solution. In just 5 months, we have seen the mass murder of over 30,000 Palestinian people, with the real number more likely approaching 40,000. This is the highest civilian casualty rate of any war in modern history, and over 13,000 children have been murdered. This is in addition to the 17,000 children and babies that are now orphaned, many of them with no remaining surviving family members, and thousands of children who have had limbs amputated many times without anesthesia. Besides the indiscriminate bombing campaign that has been carried out, the people of Palestine are now facing a risk of immediate famine. As of this writing, at least 18 people have died of malnutrition and dehydration, and this number is expected to quickly escalate. I do not support the genocide, and I do not support U.S. involvement and my taxpayer dollars being used to fund weapons or money in Israel. Voters are sick of their voices not being heard, and I think I don't just speak for myself when I say I will not vote for anyone who continues to support and bankroll these crimes. Thank you.
Thank you. Arnold Kotler, Rachel Engel, Leif Inani, Zoom, IT.
Hawai'i here. I'm going to start with a quote from Queen Leleokalani that said, "You must remember to never cease to act because you fear you may fail. The way to lose any earthly kingdom is to be inflexible, intolerant, and prejudicial. Another way is to be too flexible, tolerant of too many wrongs without judgment at all. It is a razor's edge. It is the width of a blade of a pele grass. Accordingly, as citizens of Hawai'i, we should speak up against the injustice happening in Gaza and speak up for the oppressed as we always have. As you may recall, we had came together as a community in 2016, collectively said no to former President racist ban on travel from certain countries. I strongly urge us to be on the aloha side of history and to show the world what aloha truly means, as we always have. Mahalo nui for holding space for us today. And please, please, I beg of you, do not forget of these children.
Thank you. IT, is my understanding that there are two people that I called earlier that might be on Zoom, Christopher Cassini and Ezra L.
Yes, both are here.
Okay, thank you. Start with Christopher, Christopher, you can go first.
Aloha. I'm a physics teacher at Kamehameha Schools. As a scientist, I take my cue from Albert Einstein, that great Jewish physicist who also used his position to speak up for justice. And as a Jew, he was firmly against the Zionism of the state of Israel, and he referred to them as fascists, as having the same type of ideology as the Nazis. Continuing to stay silent is exactly the kind of inaction that enables the extremist and most right-wing, far-right radical versions of Zionism. As we know, Itamar Ben-Gvir is the current national defense minister. He was actually denied entry into the IDF because he was so racist. And so continuing to ignore this is going to only embolden these far-right extreme elements who right now are proposing to declare war on the surrounding Arab nations. This is going to pull the world into nuclear war, and it's going to be very dangerous for all of us, including my own students.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ezra?
Senators, my name is Ezra Levinson. I'm a Kailua resident in strong support of a ceasefire resolution. I'll be brief, but I want to elaborate on the written testimony I submitted and quote from a letter published by hundreds of Jewish writers and public figures called A Dangerous Conflation. These figures wrote that, quote, "It is precisely because of the painful history of anti-Semitism and the lessons of Jewish texts that we advocate for the dignity and sovereignty of the Palestinian people. We believe the rights of Jews and Palestinians go hand in hand." Senators, I ask you not only as a resident of Hawaii and a citizen of the United States, but as a Jew, to do everything you can to end this violent genocide being committed in my name.
Thank you, Ezra. We'll now go back to Christiana Kahakawila in support, Shrey Deshpande in support, Donovan Sun in support, Jacqueline Chappell. Yes, hi, welcome. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. If you could state your name and your position.
Yeah, Jacqueline Chappell here as an individual. So the question that's not asked enough in the media is, why is the U.S. financing Israel? One response, the US has always supported Israel, but inertia is not a geopolitical strategy. Another reason, there are a lot of powerful Jews in the US, but Jewish Americans account for 2.5% of the US, and not all Israelis support the violence in Gaza. Is the goal to maintain stability in the Mideast? Because if it is, the US is most certainly not achieving that. The US presence has already provoked a widening regional war, entangling the US in yet another quagmire in a place few Americans understand or care about. 3 Americans have already died in what appears to be a mistake. Whatever the reason for US interest in ancient Canaan, Congress needs to be explicit about its goals. If it has no clear and compelling interest in the area, please get my tax dollars out of there. Not financing human rights abuse is the absolute minimum we can ask for from a government. Israel is a relatively rich country. They can finance their own war. I urge legislators to support the bills. Thank you.
Thank you. Kelsey Amos, the following are all in support. Anik Worth Yap, Kelly Cadavona, Jordan Smith, Jane E. Arnold, Aliyah Jarrah, all in support. Cassandra Chi, in person, followed by Don Morias Webster via Zoom.
They're unavailable on Zoom.
Okay, thank you, IT. Following individuals all in support: Kyle K. Kajihiro, Chase Livingston, Jessica Dos Santos, Thomas Kevin Kekoa Dolan Ma, George Huds, Olivia Meyer, Isis Usborn, Reverend Malia Galindo, Jennifer He, Valerie Weiss, Ethan Chang, Napua Canales, Cynthia Franklin, Rachel Saul, Cedar Wilson, Mary Rose Go, Megan Harden, Nawahine Kaho'opi, Malia Kim, Therese Claty, Serena Dial, CJ. Is Cynthia Franklin on Zoom, IT?
They're unavailable on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. CJ Key, Kathleen Sands, Jessica Kawamura, Emily Sarasa, Nancy Dela Cruz. Following are all in support: Rachel Tojong, Heena Hemaloro, Cheyenne Kalama, S. Shankar, Aria Kula, Catherine Bradford, Amy Allen, Ka King Su, Molly J. Cunningham, Justine Espiritu. In opposition, Alan R. Spector. In support, David Ash. All the following is all in support: Sheikh Chan Hodges, Bonnie Brooke Bullock, Riley Heron, Mary Balbin, Logan Malteri, Casey Brinkman, Laura Horauchi, Vey Alice Fioso, Spencer Heedy, Olivia Chang, Kira Shibert. Yep, sorry. Olivia Chang, and then followed by Kira Sirbert. Hi, welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair Wakai and members of the committee. Senators, I am holding in my hand a plastic bag. There is nothing special about this plastic bag, but looking at it makes me feel sick to my stomach. And that's because I have seen a photo of a man in Gaza holding a plastic bag just like this, but with the remains of his family members. And they were killed by a military that is killing hundreds of people each day. They're killed by a military that can only do what it is doing because of our tax dollars, because of our support, because of our refusal to say that enough is enough. So I urge you to pass this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Kira Siebert on Zoom. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. And thank you for holding this.
If you can identify yourself and state your position, please.
I'm Kira Siebert, and I'm in support of a ceasefire, a hopefully immediate and permanent ceasefire. I have Palestinian friends, I have Israeli friends, I work with teenagers, and all are beyond upset about what's happening. And our current administration in the State Department is not listening to our calls or the global calls for peace. And it is my hope that Hawaii can lead that way forward, that we can start with peace and we can heal from there. That the US can actually contribute something good instead of our tax dollars funding violence and so much suffering. So please, I just implore you to take a stand for humanity where we can work together, but we need peace to start that. So thank you.
Thank you, Kira. Desha Alvarado in support. All the following are in support: Madison Morita, Mandy, Iman Almiski, Ashley McGuire, Nathan Abreu, Jennifer Kim, all in support. Following are also in support: Keone Varlick, Autumn Owl, Jeanette Kwablawi, Aiden Subject, Scott Gifford, Alexander Osborne. In person, I have Makana Hicks, Carissa Chu. On Zoom, I have Anna Baldinger. IT.
Yes, they are available.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Anna Baldinger, and I'm testifying in support of SCR 13, SR 6, and imploring you, our elected officials, to take a stand and support a permanent ceasefire. As someone who grew up Jewish and who was taught the dangers of Zionism from an early age by my father, who's visited Israel and seen the racism and discrimination against Palestinians and Muslims firsthand, this has been a long-time goal of Netanyahu and his administration prior to October. So to list 3 reasons why a permanent ceasefire is the only solution, the ceasefire would put an end to the unlawful assaults perpetrated by all parties, including the Israelis, supported by US government funding, and curb the mounting death toll in Gaza. It would also allow hospitals to receive the life-saving medicines, fuel, and equipment that they need. A permanent ceasefire would create opportunities to negotiate the release of hostages detained in Gaza and pave the way for an independent international investigation into the war crimes committed on all sides. Thank you.
Thank you. Kayla Marie, Lauren Hajaran, Mariah Iris Ramo via Zoom.
Yes, they're available on Zoom.
Thank you. Aloha, welcome.
Dear committee members, I'm Mariah, a freshman at Columbia University. I'm in strong support of SCR 13 and SCR 6. Growing up in the Philippines and Hawaii, I've seen and felt the impact of US imperialism and colonialism and how often it erases our heritage. Like Palestinians, our struggle for liberation is intertwined. Calling for a ceasefire in Gaza is vital to stop violence and aid affected families. It's a step towards a free Palestine. I'll end with an Ilocano version of the last line in If I Must Die poem by Rafa'at Alarid, a Palestinian poet who was killed in an airstrike carried out by the Israeli military. Numan matayak isu tinamnama, isuntag balin apaka istoryaan. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it be a tale. I believe in a free Palestine, a free Hawaii, and a free Philippines, all within our lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariah. Jocelyn Brody in support. The following all in support: Jacqueline Chico, Corey Hardin, Jessica Christine Littman, Christy Werner, Vaidehi Sresta, Tiffany Romano Spencer, Jessica Nakamura, Sheala Karadi Humphreys, Hua Ena An, Catherine Gitchell, Lily Fisher, Kamaili Granis, Jung Hong Choi, Ari Wara Wang Wasu. In support: Kylie Sagahara, Mackenzie Ozoa, Marissa Pangilinan. IT, do we have a Sarah Yokimoto Saltman on Zoom?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Aloha, welcome, Sarah.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Sarah Yukimoto Saltman, and I am testifying in strong support of SCR 13 SR 6. As a Jewish person born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii, I am compelled to be here today demanding a ceasefire in the ongoing genocide against Palestinian people. In the past 150 days, I have witnessed 30,000 Palestinians, children, mothers and fathers, and grandparents murdered in a genocide that is being carried out by Israel, live streamed on social media, funded by the United States, that continues to send billions of dollars and weapons to Israel. This has to end. This has to end. We are at an impasse where Hawaii has the opportunity to stand on the right side of history or continue to sanction this violence. To this end, I am calling on Hawaii state lawmakers in both the legislature and US Congress to stand courageously along with the majority of Americans and a permanent ceasefire.
Thank you. The following individuals all in support: Sherry Shimizu, Emily Gambino, Malia Marquez, Dave Nakaji, Yasmin Galvez, Campbell Brown, Alexander Moth, Trinity Jun Shin, Marilyn Mick, Mariko Whitenack, Holly Coughlin, Maki Mornoi, Catherine Rosigo, Mary True, Tetua Here, Tete Gerlach, Victor Ramos, Carrie Lunsford, Linda Williams, Amber Smith, Melly Hamasaki, Robert Stiver, Mary Marvin Porter, Corey, Kristen Young, Jennifer Sheba, Brandy Cutler, Satur Nino Doctor, Ulani Naipo, Emmanuel Pangilinan, Donna Au, Emily Kandagawa, Turi Kim, all in support, Tara Bowman, Laura Scher, Kiala Fung, Cardenas Pinter, in person, Inga Gibson.
Good afternoon, Chair Wakai, Vice Chair, committee members. In strong support, I'll stand on our testimony, but would be happy to answer any questions regarding the proposed clarifying amendments that Hakeem and I both offered.
Okay.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Ms. Gibson. Kylie Akiona, following are all in support. Kylie Akiona, Casey Inez, Robin Martin, Nicholas Kagon, Lorraine Vahinuhea, Chloe Hartwell, Carrie Silva, Jane Au, Betty Bruce, Christina Oy, Hannah, Aria Juliet Castillo. On Zoom IT, I have Meredith Buck.
They're unavailable on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. All the following individuals in support: Kayla Almasik, Corrine Foley, Shayna Esteban, Amy Parsons, Zachary Kubo, Jeffrey Balcom. In person, Christian Ramil. Aloha, welcome.
Hello. Hello, members of the committee. I am Christian Ramil, testifying as an individual. Thank you for scheduling this resolution and for the opportunity for community members to submit testimony. I'm testifying today in support of this important resolution. I testify as someone who was born and raised in Hawaii and only very recently relocated back to Honolulu. Having read the deeply tragic headlines of the past several months and seeing people all over the US and the world speak in support of peace, I feel compelled to add my voice as just one of many in support of a permanent ceasefire. While it's encouraging to see our federal government increasingly recognize this humanitarian catastrophe, which other testifiers have very well described, I urge the Hawaii State Legislature to pass this resolution and support a permanent ceasefire. This will signal to Hawaii's congressional delegation and the Biden administration that constituents in Hawaii demand an end to indiscriminate killing of Palestinians. Mahalo.
Thank you. IT, is there Julia Sakamoto and Brian Hethos on Zoom?
Yes, Julia is here.
Hi, Julia, welcome.
Aloha, members of the committee. I am testifying in support of the resolution. As stated in the resolution, all human life is precious, and we as a civilized society have agreed upon rules, including that non-combatant lives, especially children's lives, must be protected and not unnecessarily harmed. The long-term solution for bringing peace to the region are unclear, but the dismantling of Hamas cannot and should not be achieved at the expense of tens of thousands of innocent lives. And we cannot be complicit in letting this happen with little to no meaningful intervention. Because the US holds great sway in this global conversation, please represent our collective voices and insist that the Biden administration call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, facilitate the de-escalation of hostilities, and promptly facilitate the entry of much-needed humanitarian assistance into the region. Mahalo.
Thank you, Julia. IT, is there Brian Hethos?
They're not available on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. The following individuals all in support: Charlotte Sandos, Chastity Bay, Gabrielle Justine Tabat, Melissa Devine, Elima Long, Juliana Davis, Anna Hubbard, Joshua Tengan, Joy Inamoto, Jody Robinson, Amanda Coons, Janice Staub, Alicia K. Higgins, Christine Van Buren, Kelsey Mappa, Stephanie Yo, Grace Nastase, Quinn Go, Natalie Maki, Haley Pruitt, Ethan Onepa'a Porter, Brianne Fong, Lana Bilbo, Jennifer Kawi Young, Tadia Rice, Imana Altemis Williams, Dylan Hilger, In the following four individuals in person I have is William McGregor, followed by Aaron Axelman, followed by Alejandra Rivas and David Bess. Is any of those individuals here? Yes. Oh, William McGregor. Yeah, we'll start with William McGregor. I had it listed down in person. Please proceed.
William McGregor. I'm a 16-year U.S. Army combat veteran. I support this resolution. Yesterday, 29% of your constituency voted non-committed. Polling shows overwhelmingly support throughout the islands for a permanent ceasefire. Last week, the State Department confirmed the deaths of 30,000 innocent women and children in the Gaza Strip since October 7th. UNICEF reported this morning that dozens of infants are now dying daily due to malnutrition, and that number is rising. Today, on International Women's Day, hundreds of Palestinian women will give birth in unsanitary conditions without proper medical care, including dozens of C-sections without anesthesia. Some members of this estimable body will attempt to whitewash or both sides this genocide. Beware of the political climber looking to appease AIPAC in the Israeli lobby. Their true colors will be obvious in their comments and votes following this testimony. Mahalo for this meager 60 seconds.
Thank you, William. Aaron Axelman, Alejandra Rivas, David Biss. Hi,
Aaron
welcome.
Axelman.
Yes, please proceed.
I'm in support of the ceasefire resolution. My name is Aaron Axelman. I'm a Jewish American and the co-director of the documentary Israelism on the changing American-Jewish relationship to Israel. What Israel is doing in Gaza is genocidal. I do not use that term lightly. Over 100,000 people have been killed or injured, 30,000 human lives ended, 10,000 of which are children. Children have begun starving to death. I call this genocidal not only because of the mass destruction and death, but also because of the direct words of key Israeli government ministers, from calling the people of Gaza animals, calls to mass ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip, to calls to further colonize Gaza, to calls to destroy as many homes as humanly possible. This is a purposeful and clear-eyed destruction of a people and a place. 63% of all Americans want a ceasefire. Over 50% of all American Jews now want a ceasefire, with only 32% of American Jews wanting the war to continue. 30% of Hawaii primary voters voted uncommitted only days ago, a stand-in for ceasefire, the highest percent of any primary in the country. Vote ceasefire now, please, before it's too late.
Thank you. Alejandra Rivas, David Biss. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Alejandra Rivas, and I'm here to testify in support of resolutions SCR 13 and SR 6. Never has the world been able to witness this level of suffering and genocide with firsthand documentation of the atrocities and war crimes being committed in Gaza. Not only are we witnessing the systematic oppression, torture, and murder of tens of thousands of Palestinians, including 12,000 children and babies who haven't even had a chance to know what life is, but we are paying for it. This is a Hawaii issue because when RIMPAC takes place here, Israel comes to this Aina to practice killing Palestinians, to practice bombing hospitals, bombing schools, bombing starving people trying to get food for their families. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been barbarically murdered by Israel with resources from the US, and that does not include those who are under the rubble and decomposing in the streets. We need an immediate and permanent ceasefire so that Israel's terrorism and genocide cannot continue at this rate. Thank you.
Thank you. David?
Aloha. My name is David Buse. I'm a longtime resident of Laie. And I'm not going to read most of what I wrote because people have already said it much better than I can say it. I think you know the right thing to do. Senators, I think you know how your constituents feel and can see that they're educated and understand the issue really well. I plead with you for those that have already been lost and for all those that can yet be saved. Please support these two bills, SCR 13 and SR 6. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Okay, the following individuals all in support: Echo Hirata, Ayla Castillo, Nicole Valherde, Isabella Constant, Aliyah Shoklov, Michael Desar, Anissa Kili'i Kipi, Michelle Karan, Julia Arnaldi, Amaya Hirata, Rabia Ashraf, Sam Peck, Laila Popata, Eva Moschika, Shannon Rudolph, Christy Chadwick, Lauren Kamale Stovall, Don Moniz, Patricia Olivares, Haley Figueras, Wally Inglis, Miranda Scarola, Willow Chang, Tu Nguyen, Victoria Romit, Cindy Nawilis. Following IT in Zoom are on Zoom, Bart Dame, followed by Lauren Ballesteros Watanabe. If they're on
No,
Zoom.
no, they're not on Zoom.
Okay. The next person on Zoom is Dr. Dorani Mohammed.
No, they're unavailable on Zoom.
Okay. In person, Mayuki Frey. Aloha, welcome.
Good afternoon, Chairman. My name is Mayuki. I'm a senior at Kalani High School. I'm testifying in support of the ceasefire as an individual and as a human. To be human is to have compassion and emotional intelligence of that greater than animals. Israel has not provided any of that to Palestinians, nor has it treated them as any better than how we treat animals. They've committed countless war crimes and have broken nearly every United Nations law. Not only that, but they're quite literally committing the textbook definition of an ethnic cleansing. This is past any excuse Israel has given for why they could be committing this genocide. This is my first year paying taxes, and I refuse to let it fund a cause that kills those even younger than me. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Kencho Gorang on Zoom IT.
Hi, good afternoon, honorable committee members. My name is Kencho Gurung, and I am testifying in very strong support of this resolution. You have a unique opportunity to use your position to call for the right thing to do. If we think back to US-backed violence in Vietnam, Iraq, and so many other countless places, we know now that these were huge mistakes. Most lawmakers could not see that at the time. But look around and see how many of your constituents are deeply committed to stopping this genocide. Do you want yours to be a voice that continued a genocide? We are a movement that cannot be stopped, and we are here because our humanity compels us to be. We hope that you make the right choice. Mahalo.
Thank you. I have Jonathan on Zoom IT in support with suggested amendments.
Yes, they're available on Zoom.
Hi, Jonathan. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Simons. I am testifying in support of this resolution from Kapau in Kohala, Hawai'i Island. The colonial violence in Palestine mirrors the shameful and horrific colonial violence of the United States, continuing in insidious ways across the country and the occupied Hawaiian Islands to this day. The United States projects an image of progress onto the world stage, but by pajamas of simplicity, the genocide of indigenous people, and systemic erasure of their cultures and histories. It is clear both by actions in Hawaii and by continued funding for the expansionist Israeli project that these condemnations are for the pen only and not backed by policy. Please consider changing the story. Please support SCR 13 and SCR 6 and help bring an end to the violence and destruction in Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Also on Zoom IT, I have Avalon.
They're unavailable on Zoom.
Okay, the next individual is in opposition, Robert Taylor, and then the rest of these individuals are in support, Lucia Yu, Nicolita Garces, Cassandra Antonell, Talak Takuda, Misty Oihara, Jamie Fries, Mariva Minerebe, Junior Rex Lokani, Alex Coles, Kayla Oshiro, Shani Anderson, Malia Smith, Savannah Coles, Natalie Turner, Casey Stokes, Lauren Blissett, Ali Wen, Derek Pestroselli, Davey Wiggins, Shannon Maldonado, Ellen Ray Cachola in support, Kilihia Inabe in support. The next person is in person, Philip Schreger. Okay, let's see that. IT on Zoom, I have Kili Po'oloa and Ruth Coles. Are any of them on?
No, they're both unavailable.
Okay, the next two people in person are Ella Malie Turner and Isabella Grace De Rahu. Start with Ella.
My name is Malia Turner, and I'm here to testify in full support of the ceasefire resolutions. The world is witness to indiscriminate violence, destruction, and death in Gaza. But as taxpayers to America, we are complicit. Well over 30,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza in just 150 days. This does not account for those lost under rubble, killed outside of Gaza, murdered in detainment, or any other form of undocumented casualty. The Israeli government, with America's help, has cut Gaza off from food, water, fuel, and electricity, all while sustaining military bombardment, forcing Palestinians once again into displacement or death. The situation will worsen without a ceasefire. It is more than evident that the people of Hawaii, Naupo'eo Hawaii, stand with Palestine. You've seen the rallies, you've seen the marches for which thousands have shown up to. We demand an immediate and permanent ceasefire. We demand a liberated Palestine. We demand a real and lasting peace. We urge the Hawaii State Legislature to join its constituents in calling for a permanent ceasefire. The Israeli military uses the RIMPAC training, destroying our Aina, our home, to then carry out a genocide. End RIMPAC, end the occupation, ceasefire.
Thank you. Isabella Grace.
Aloha. My name is Isabella Grace Durijo, and I am testifying in strong support of SCR 113 SR6. 30,000 civilians have been killed since October 7th, and the majority of them are women and children. I work in childcare. Why is any Hawaiian tax dollars paying for a genocide I do not support? Why are our tax dollars killing children? Our children here in Hawaii need that money. I drink water that was poisoned by the US military while under contract by the Hawaiian Department of Education, and that water is still not clean. All children deserve clean water. All children deserve a safe place to sleep at night, and all children deserve or have the right to life, health care, and food. No child should be buried or missing under rubble for the crime of being born Palestinian. The surviving children of this war will face numerous difficulties as they face displacement, famine, and missing and murdered family members. Ceasefire now and ceasefire forever.
Thank you. Following person IT is on Zoom. I have is Catherine Rothman. Aloha, welcome. Please proceed.
Aloha. I am testifying in support of SR 13 SR 6. As a Jew and a disabled person, I wake up every day thinking about the impact of Israel's genocidal campaign on the most vulnerable people in Gaza, especially those living with disability or chronic illness, children, and the elderly, who are not able to meet even their most basic human needs, and my complicity as an American taxpayer. The deaths of 40,000 and wounding of 70,000 civilians, as unimaginably horrific as that is, does not even begin to capture the scope of the suffering that the people in Gaza face, where doctors are now being forced to send prematurely born babies home to die because they can only keep so many of them alive. And as each day of Israel's military campaign continues, and the longer the US fails to apply sufficient pressure on Israel to demand a ceasefire, the lack of adequate food, water, fuel, and basic supplies in Gaza compounds and risks even more suffering, starvation, and death in the days ahead. You must support a ceasefire. You must support much needed aid and care coming into Gaza, not more violence and death. Thank you.
Thank you. In person, I have Shaw Kalaka Pasqua. I do see Sergio Acobila. We called you earlier. Did you want to come and testify, sir? Please come forward. Aloha and welcome.
Thank you, Senator. Chair, Vice Chair, my name is Sergio Acobila. I'm the Executive Director of the Hawaii Workers Center, and we stand in strong support of this resolution. I've been to Israel, Palestine twice in my life. I've seen directly the impact of the Palestinian refugee camps, people that have had to leave and flee from their homes. I've seen the security walls go up that splits entire neighborhoods in half. We've got a special opportunity here. We may have the smallest congressional delegation, but we can have the loudest voice in terms of sending our aloha to one occupied land to another. Then we can have the loudest voice in terms of supporting, standing for humanity. We can have the loudest voice in terms of standing up for what's right and what's in line with our conscience. So Senators, I ask you again to support this resolution, and thank you very much for allowing me to testify.
Thank you, Sergio. On Zoom IT, I have Kathleen Flanders.
Yes, they're available on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed.
Aloha, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. I remind you that genocide is the gravest of crimes under international law, and that the United States has a duty under Article 1 of the 1948 Geneva Convention to prevent its acts. Whether a state has breached its duty to prevent genocide depends on the state's ability to effectively influence the actions of the people likely to commit or already committing genocide. The United States has tremendous influence on the actions of the Israeli government. And the United States, U.S. citizens, including this legislative body up to the president, can be held responsible for their role in furthering genocide by not taking steps to preventing the likelihood of genocide. Further, not calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire will burden our citizenry with the horrific, unconscionable crime of complicity to the genocide of the indigenous Palestinians. This is a burden of conscience and heart not to be borne by a people already who wear scars of colonial theft and oppression. Mahalo from Hanamaui. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Kathleen. The following individuals in support, Anna Chua, Raja Ilya, Naomi Leopold, Stella Caban, Rob Weltman, Richard, Kent Lang Cools, Amber Viernes, Joanne Archibald, Daniel Frun, Alina B, Joseph Hahn, Emerson Gu, Ka'aha Kahina Ali'i, Kaupua, Kau No Nigo, Catherine Perryman, Robbie Snyder, Sienna Hartley, Noel Iata, Samantha Faranelli, Kioni Shuzuma, Michael Orr, all in support. On Zoom, I have Kyrie Hua'o.
They're unavailable on Zoom.
Okay. Thank you, IT. Next person, in person, Dr. Ikaika Ramones. Aloha, welcome.
I'm Dr. Ikaika Ramones, a professor of anthropology at Princeton University. Just this week, 29% of Hawaii Democratic voters chose uncommitted rather than Biden, leading the entire nation with the highest such rate of uncommitted votes. That sends a strong message, including to legislators, of where constituents sit regarding the need for a ceasefire. Airdrops and a port are criminally insufficient when the US has the ability to end the genocide. As a native Hawaiian, I say before we even utter the words aloha or even Hawaii, that our actions match our words. They're not just words, they're ways of life. And we Hawaiians know that. The only way to be authentic to those values, the only way to even say aloha or Hawaii with integrity, with self-respect, is to support an immediate ceasefire to protect indigenous life for a liberated Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramones. IT on Zoom, Puanani Kani Ali'i.
They're unavailable on Zoom.
Okay, the next two people in person, Keon Gutkin and Kiana Rose. Are any of them available in person? Okay, next testifier, Barbara Althemis. Yeah, Barbara. Yeah, please come forward. And then Rose, oh, you can go after her. Yep.
Aloha.
Aloha, welcome.
I'm Barbara. And I also would like to add that I was on the West Bank in late 2022 and horrified at what I witnessed. And I'm here to share with you as a Jewish woman who's lost family in the Jewish Holocaust. And I was taught the values that are totally opposed to the genocide committed by the Israeli and the United States government. I do not agree with any of that, and I was horrified, like I was saying, with what I saw. Being anti-Zionist is not being anti-Semitic. Judaism is thousands of years old, with values that stand for justice and the oppressed. Zionism is less than 150 years old, and settler colonialism. My heart is broken witnessing the extermination of the Palestinian people. The Jewish people know this all too well. And as people know who've been through genocide,
thank you, Barbara.
We have this in our genetic memory.
Thank you.
We stand forth Palestinian, free Palestine.
Danny H.C. Lee on Zoom. And then, I'm sorry, Kiana Rose. Yeah, Kiana Rose.
Aloha Avakea Kako, o Kiana Rose Dulan Ko'uinoa, Mokumoku Evan Mayo. I just took off from work, took off early to testify in support of a permanent ceasefire in Gaza to stop the genocide that is happening to the Palestinian people. At work, although I'm surrounded by Lo'ikalo and beautiful wetlands, the Marine Corps base is right across from me. Gigantic planes disturb the Mololani winds, and people are desensitized to the atrocities that the military commits. I stand here for the same reason I plant kalo and pull weeds, because I cannot stand by while my tax money is being used to fund the Palestinian genocide. I cannot stand by while my own dad works for the Department of Defense. We live in a settler colonial state that was taken by the US military. Vladimir Jabotinsky, one of the fathers of Zionism, said himself that Zionism is a settler colonial adventure. As someone who is part Kanaka Maoli and part of the Filipino diaspora, I am here to testify in support of a permanent ceasefire, free Palestine, free Hawaii, Hemu Oya.
Thank you. Danny H.C. Lee on Zoom.
They're unavailable on Zoom, but
Okay.
Daria is here to testify as well.
Okay, please proceed.
Members of this committee, my name is Daria Fan, and I'm here to testify in very strong support of this measure. As a Jewish American who has been born and raised in Hawaii, I am outraged at the persecution that is progressing and intensifying against Palestinians and the impunity of the state of Israel. I did want to pivot to say something that's a little bit controversial about Hamas. I included this in my written testimony at the very end. I took a few excerpts from the Hamas charter, last amended in 2017. Hamas states in its charter that it is actually in favor of peaceable coexistence among all peoples and religions and faiths and nationalities. I'm not here to support any of the atrocities that Hamas committed, but a military solution to a problem that has occurred because they are fighting for the indigenous people that they are governing is not going to work. More military aid, more weapons, more defense, especially from the United States.
Thank you,
is
Daria.
not going to work. A ceasefire permanently is the solution. Thank you.
Thank you. We have in person Asling Kennedy. Yes, please come forward. Welcome.
Aloha, members of the committee. My name is Ashleen, and I am here to strongly support SCR 13 and SR 6. Since October, Israeli forces have killed at least 30,000 Palestinian men, women, and children and wounded at least 72,000. They have forcibly displaced close to 2 million civilians in the Gaza Strip, the majority of the population of Gaza. They have killed and endangered Israeli hostages. They have bombed hospitals, schools, refugee camps, mosques, and churches. They have killed journalists, healthcare workers, and aid workers. UNICEF estimates that at least 17,000 children in the Gaza Strip are unaccompanied or separated. As Israel continues to block food, water, medical supplies, and other much-needed aid, Palestinians are now being killed not just by Israeli bombs and gunfire, but by starvation and disease. This is not a war, this is a genocide. The only humanitarian solution is an immediate and permanent ceasefire. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The following individuals I have are in support: Ilana Stout, Kevin Kawi, Don Adeli, Ho'olai Kahili O Nalani, Travis, Sarah Kaneko, Julia Warch, Abby Seitz, Seiji Yamada, Shannon Homaikai Hennessy, Georgia Thompson West, Josiah Rodriguez, Destiny Joy Antonio, Jason Mizula, Christina Sanchez, Seb Choi, Stephanie Villalobos, Jordan Capono Nakamura, Megan Shea. Next person is in person Victoria Albritton. Yeah, hi, welcome.
Aloha, members of the committee. My name is Victoria Albritton, and I'm in strong support of this resolution. I am a Christian Palestinian born in America. My parents came to America and believed in the so-called American dream. Little did they know this was not a nation under God, but a nation under Zionist control. We are witnessing the US and Israel use Judaism and Christianity as shields to justify the onslaught of innocent Christian and Muslim Palestinians, all for their own benefit. I served 5 years in the US Army. I was deployed to Tel Aviv during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003, where I witnessed firsthand the malicious tactics of the IDF and the same apartheid system we are witnessing today. We are watching veterans set their uniforms ablaze, disgusted and betrayed by their service to the so-called great nation that uses our soldiers as pawns in their game of world dominance. We, the people, have suffered the greed of capitalists and say, enough is enough. Aaron Bushnell's last statement before shouting free Palestine was, I will no longer be complicit in genocide. So I ask you today, when will our government listen to our cries and say enough is enough? We call for a permanent ceasefire now.
Thank you,
Free
Victoria.
Palestine. Thank you.
Next person is in person, Madeline Whitehill. Person here. And then the next two, Jamie Nicole Eccles and Elizabeth Rago. Are any of them in person? Yes, please come forward.
Aloha Senators. My name is Elizabeth Rago Kaili, and my husband and I live on the North Shore on Oahu, of Oahu and Kuhuku. I'm here to respectfully ask the Senate committee to vote yes on SCR 13 and SR 6, both of which support a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. As well-known and respected genealogist Maya Jensen said in response to American gun violence, quote, "Children are becoming ancestors at too young an age every day," end of quote. This can accurately apply to the children of our Palestinian brothers and sisters, Palestinian children who must live under constant threat of violence, under bombing, sounds of drones, gunfire, dying family members, and small family pets. These innocents have nowhere to run or hide. These future guardians and carriers of family traditions, cultural practices, burial grounds, and ancestral lands are alone. They are too little to help themselves, so we must help them. We must keep them safe. The same genealogist, Maya Jensen, says it is easy to numb the numbers coming out of Palestine. One must combat this to learn. One must combat this. One way to combat this is to learn the stories of the people. I ask this committee to continue to listen and learn these stories.
Thank you.
And I ask this committee to vote yes on SCR 13 and SR 6. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, Madeline R. Whitehill and Jamie Nicole Eccles. Any of them in person? Aloha, welcome.
All right. As a colonizer,
If you can just state your name for the record and your position.
Jamie Nicole Eccles.
Yep, thank you.
And I am in support as a colonizer in the Hawaiian Kingdom and as a transplant in Hawaii from an Air Force lineage from the state of Missouri. I know Cori Bush is pushing for this, and in honor of Aaron Bushnell, if there is any humanity left in people, we need a 100% push for support for this. As we are sitting here nice and comfortably with our lights and our plumbing and our AC, children in tents, women, and are actively being shot at and bombed while we are sitting here comfortably. That is absolutely disgusting. Whatever opinion is on Hamas, we cannot stand with genocide. That is not okay in any capacity. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay. Members, that completes what I have registered to testify. I'll also note that in total for SCR 13, we had 519 in support, 5 in opposition, and 2 comments. And for SCR 6, 256 in support, 7 in opposition, and 1 comment. Is there anyone else that I have not called in person that wishes to testify? Okay, we'll start. Go ahead. Yeah, Mr. Curtis. And then the next person can come and sit right here. Yep.
Aloha, Henry Curtis, testifying personally. I'm appalled at what's happening, and I strongly support these resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry.
Aloha, my name is Muhammad Ali Khan. A few hours ago, I didn't think I would be here, but at Friday prayers, I heard about this hearing, and I had to say my 2 cents. I'm Muslim. My wife is Jewish. She's an attorney here. We have 3 kids, 10, 8, and 7. I just picked them up from school. Unfortunately, they fell asleep. But the kids in Gaza are not sleeping. The kids in Israel are sleeping. The kids in Hawaii are sleeping. This is about conscience and truth, okay? All of you, thank you very much for coming. Thank you so much, because all the people that have come will answer to God one day. They will stand in front of God and said, what have you done at this moment? Did you stay quiet or did you speak up? The Japanese community, we appreciate you. You spoke up from us going to from camps. You guys were put in camps after World War II. That was horrific. That was a mistake made by our government. We cannot allow our government to continue to make this mistake and support Israel.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Unconditionally.
And are you in support of the resolutions?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Yes, please proceed.
Aloha, my name is Cassie Chi. I'm the pastor of Wahiawa United Church of Christ, and I'm in strong support of this resolution. I stand on my written testimony, which includes a ceasefire statement signed by 47 faith leaders from across Hawaii and across many different faith backgrounds as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Chi.
Aloha, my name is Yeshua Aquino. I'm here to testify my support for SCR 13 and SR 6. The recent surge in violence has resulted in an alarming loss of life with tens of thousands of civilians, mostly women and children. Furthermore, the indiscriminate aerial attacks and the intensified blockade on Gaza have only served to escalate tensions and deepen the suffering of the civilian population. In the face of such immense human suffering, I urge all parties involved to halt hostilities with an immediate and permanent ceasefire. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha committee, my name is Shaw Kalaka Pasqua. I am in support of SC 13 and SR 6. I am of Native Hawaiian and Filipino descent, so my ancestors were also submitted to colonial actions by colonizers. So I cannot stand here and let myself pay for another act of genocide, colonial imperialism done by the American military and Israel Defense Force. So please call for a ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire, and please free Palestine.
Thank you.
Aloha, members of the committee. My name is Rin Patton. I'm testifying in strong support of this ceasefire resolution because my heart breaks daily seeing the images of civilians being killed through direct violence and now through starvation and dehydration. I'm part of an organization, the Democratic Socialists of America, who's been calling for a ceasefire since October, and we're joined by people of conscience all over the world calling for the same thing. We've been at this for months and we will not stop until it ends, because I honestly can't believe that our leaders are not listening to our pleas, because this movement for a ceasefire is huge, and we've been applying sustained pressure through boycotts, blockades, marches, resolutions, speaking truth to power, voting uncommitted like I did in the Hawaii Democratic Party's presidential primary this week, and I'll be a delegate at the state convention in May, voicing the same concern because our party has to do better. The people are not with our leaders on this one, and they need to listen to the people they represent. Israel is an apartheid state that has illegally blockaded and occupied the Gaza Strip for decades, and now they're using the tragic events of October 7 as cover to exterminate Palestinians. Some 40,000 civilians have been killed so far. I implore you to pass this resolution.
Thank you. Yes, please proceed.
Thank you. Aloha, Chair Wakai, Vice Chair Elefante, and members of the committee. You've heard—
You can state your name for the record,
Sorry,
please.
Sam Peck, testifying as an individual. You've heard many pieces of emotional testimony today that I can only imagine are compelling to stop the bombing of children and innocent women, men, and civilians. To add my contribution, I'd just like to make an analogy and say that supporting the state of Israel is no different than supporting the state of Nazi Germany. The actions of these two states are directly comparable. Israel is denying civilians food, water, electricity, actively blocking gates, actively blocking shipments of food from going into these people, bombing civilians, and genocidal rhetoric is coming out of Israeli leadership, which our American tax dollars fully support. They're calling Palestinians human animals, calling themselves children of light, and Palestinians children of the darkness. This is clearly genocidal rhetoric that is, again, no different from Nazi Germany. And supporting Israel today is the same as it would have been to support Nazi Germany and the extermination of the Jews in the Holocaust in the 1940s. I implore you all to reflect on that, and please support this measure. Thank you for hearing it. Thank you.
Yep. Please proceed.
Thank you. My name is Maivan Clash Lam. I'm a professor emeritus from City University of New York, where I taught international law. I would like to, I have copies of my full testimony here, which I will read with you. I will just quickly summarize now. First of all, I would like to thank all of you who sponsored this resolution, and also Jewish Voice for Peace, of which I'm a member, which asked me to come and testify. Not counting the unknown number of Palestinians who remain buried under the rubble of their former homes, shops, and offices. Israel's military has killed over 30,000 Palestinians in Gaza since October and is now additionally starving the rest, none of which it could have undertaken without US complicity, which must be stopped, which I take to be the goal of the resolutions you have put forward.
Thank you, Professor Lam.
ceasefire-
Your time is up. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I would just like to add that a ceasefire is a precondition for peace negotiations to take place. So that is the
Thank you.
ultimate solution. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, my name is Arthur Dar. I'm here as an American Muslim citizen. I'm for this resolution. It is truly a tragedy of immense proportions that is unfolding in front of our eyes, a heinous crime being committed before us. If we don't take action against it, we will be judged by history as being complicit in it. It is easier said than done while reading history of such events to console yourself that how could it have happened and never under my watch. As an individual, you may be able to console and absolve yourself, but I can assure you that as a nation, we stand complicit in this atrocity. It is up to you to decide where we stand as a state that takes pride in its spirit of aloha. Whether you are for genocide or against it, you will vote your conscience and show the world and this nation where you stand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dar. Is there anyone else after this testifier here that'd like to come up? Please come forward in person and then we'll go to Zoom. Yes, please state your name for the record and
Aloha, my name is Israel Ibrand, and I'm an elementary school teacher that is in strong support of SCR 13 and SR 6. Gaza's children, women, and men have suffered through over 150 days of horrific genocide, and enough is enough. I'm here in support of a permanent ceasefire. Free Palestine.
thank you. Yes, please proceed.
Hi, my name is Nikhil Khurana, and I'm in support of the ceasefire resolution. I'm really honored to be here today with everyone else to speak on this topic. And we're here today to talk about genocide. And it's really sad that we have to be doing this so many months after it's been clear that it's been going on. And that I would like to use my time really to illustrate just another minute wasted that we are not actively working to stop this genocide. Everyone here is here for that reason. I really appreciate that. And right as we hit the number 30 mark, it's 30,000 plus people dead. And it's because of funds that the US is sending to Israel to kill people. And like, we're all trying to stop it, but you guys are in the position to do something about it. So pass this resolution, stop the funding, just stop, make sure that this war stops it. Because I really implore you guys to do as much as is possible on your end. We're all here today for the same purpose.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, last call for any in-person testifiers. If not, we'll move to Zoom. Okay, seeing none, IT, we'll move to Zoom. If you can state your name for the record and your position, please.
Aloha, Tanya Yamanaka Anasazi, in support of SR 6, SCR 13, and immediate permanent ceasefire in Gaza. 60 seconds to comment on a most horrific world event in my lifetime. The U.S. State Department confirmed 30,000 dead women and children just last week in the targeted eradication of the Palestinian people, live streamed for us all to bear witness. Grandmothers, babies, entire families, journalists, doctors, aid workers, hundreds are dying each and every day on our watch as we watch. Targeting of innocent civilians is not only a violation of international humanitarian law, but also of basic morality and human decency. Yet the politics of war and genocide are real. What privilege exists for those who have diplomatic and community influence who can look away, disassociated from the daily reality of the violence and instabilities of war? What privilege each of us has here today to be able to choose whether or not to stand for peace, or to sit in the shadows, silently condoning war and enabling genocide. Each of us is here now for a reason. This is where the US tax dollar supported path of war and violence, domination and hate has led us. When will we say no to this insanity
Thank you,
and yes
Tanya.
to humanity? I urge you, please stand for peace and be aloha in action. Thank you.
Thank you. IT, is there anyone else on Zoom?
No one else on Zoom.
Okay. Members, that concludes the end of our testifiers. Any questions for any of the testifiers? You guys good to go straight to decision making? Good. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go straight into decision making. Members, for the first The first two resolutions, SCR 3 and SR 3, urging the United States Geological Survey to conduct a topographical surveys, particularly within lava flow hazard zones 1 and 2, to update its long-term lava flow hazard map of Hawai'i Island. Our chair is going to recommend that we pass with amendments, in particular, technical amendments. Okay, any questions, concerns, or any further discussion? If not, Vice Chair votes aye.
Members, we're voting on two resolutions, SCR 3 and SR 3. Chair's recommendation to pass both these resolutions with amendments. I vote yes. Senator Elefante?
Aye.
Senator Fukunaga?
Aye.
Senator Rhodes?
Aye.
Senator Awa is excused. Chair, your recommendation is adopted for both resolutions.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Our next two resolutions, SCR 13 and SR 6, urging members of Hawaii's congressional delegation to support the ceasefire in Gaza resolution introduced by United States Congresswoman Cori Bush. Members, there were circulated proposed amendments. If I may, I'm going to read the following changes in terms of proposed amendments. For the title, it's gonna now read, urging the President of the United States and members of Hawaii's congressional delegation to support an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza. So we're gonna eliminate the original title that referenced Congresswoman Bush. For the second whereas, we're gonna include language that says, whereas on January 26, 2024, the world's highest court, the International Court of Justice, declared that Palestinians in Gaza were facing a plausible genocide. And moving on down to the 5th whereas, we're going to include the words after threats, including famine, and then after the word fuel, we're going to include the word medicine. For the next whereas clause, where it starts with whereas the dismantling of Hamas, we're going to include the words a United States government declared. For the next whereas clause where it says whereas the United States federal government, we're going to include the two words after diplomatic and economic. And then in the be it resolved clause, we're going to add the President of the United States and adding the words publicly call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, and also the words continue negotiations for lasting peace. And then in the be it further resolved, we're going to add a few other places we want to transmit it to: the governor of the state of Hawaii, majority and minority leader of the United States, Senate and House, and then also the chair of the Republican, which we also had the Democratic National Committee on there, and then we just add an S at the end of committees, and then any other technical non-substantive amendments. Any further discussion on the proposed amendments?
Yeah.
Yeah, Senator Rhodes.
So I don't suspect that very many people in this room will understand my no vote on this, but I'm going to explain it briefly. First of all, I'm appalled and shocked by the initial attack, by the tactics used with the taking hostages. With my understanding is the UN has recently determined that there was a high likelihood of rape being used as a tactic as well, which harkens back to the Kosovars with the Serbs and the Kosovars. And
excuse me, we're in discussion. If you can allow the senator to just share his comments.
And it just feels to me like it's just too simple. The problems here go back at least to Zionism in the late 19th century. Maybe the British shouldn't have opened up Palestine to Israeli settlements with the Balfour Declaration in 1917, but they did. And I don't agonize over votes very often, but in this case, I just can't vote yes. So I'm a no. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members?
Shame on you.
Okay, if not, knowing those recommendations, Mr. Chair, your vice chair votes aye, and these are for the two resolutions, SCR 13 and SR 6.
Okay, members, we're about to vote on those two resolutions. Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. I vote yes. Senator Elefante is aye. Senator Fukunaga?
Aye.
Senator Rhodes?
No.
And Senator Awa is excused. Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. This concludes our business for today. We are adjourned.